Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode 384. If I talk slow enough, I can move my mouse to find out what number this is on the.
I think you should just make it up and wait for somebody to correct him.
Yeah.
This is for the week of January 15th, 2019, our first official podcast recorded in this year. We haven't recorded a normal podcast in a month. You realize that, right?
No, we haven't recorded a normal. We haven't recorded a normal-ish podcast in a month, but we've recorded like 2 weeks ago.
That's okay. I'm too busy still going. I haven't seen either of you in like a month.
I know. It's been very long. It's been a very long time. Now, we were going to cancel the podcast tonight because Charlie and Nadia brought 12-day-old puppies to the podcast. So I was distracted for a few minutes, but we're back. We're ready to record.
Yeah, you misspelled canceled.
I was very excited. Okay, I was very excited.
They're adorable.
Before we get into all of that, though, we have to thank and thank, but also talk about a comic book. This comic book is going to be sponsoring the podcast for the next month, maybe the next 6 weeks. I guess still got to figure it out. This is from a company called Impact Theory Comics. They've been doing a lot of promotion for this book. They're all over previews. If you get your previews catalog this month, you probably saw it on there. They have a book called Neon Future. That's the very first issue. They were kind enough to send me the first issue. It's beautiful. Great-looking book. So I'm going to read their little plug here and then talk about them for just 1 second. Impact Theory Comics is a new independent publisher, and they're releasing their very first comic, Neon Future. This comic is a collaboration with world-famous DJ and producer Steve Aoki, and it's written by Eisner Award-winning writer of Justice, art by Alex Ross, Jim Kruger. So, Charlie, I know you're familiar with Jim Kruger.
Nice.
Artwork by Neil Edwards and Jeremy Rappick. The artwork and story are absolutely mind-blowing, and I will agree with that. It was a good first issue. If you like science fiction, you're going to love this comic. Head over to your local comic book shop, especially Comics Conspiracy, our own little plug here, and get Neon Future #1, put it on your pull list. It comes out... I probably should have written that down before I had it here. Let me check live while we're recording the podcast because it's in the new catalog.
We really just need to know when FOC is.
Well, right, it's in the new catalog. So we're just ordering it. I want to say release date's going to be March something. Neon.
Do you want me to get the new previews catalog?
Future.
No, I'm just waiting for him to do the Comic Hub plug. You can order it on Comic Hub.
You totally can order it on Comic Hub. And Neon Future #1 is, okay, if I take out creator Grant Morrison, let me try doing that again. I was doing a diamond search for something else earlier. All right, let's try that one more time. Neon Future #1 is available on March 27th at comic book stores. It's January 19. Your item code is Jan191944. If you give that to your local comic book shop, they're going to be like, holy crap. You know what you're talking about. There is, of course, a couple of variant covers if you want to check those out as well. Are they open order? What are they doing with these variants? They're nice covers, too. Yeah, they're all open order. That's good. 3 covers, black and white cover. The Rappic cover is the C cover. That's a good one. That's a guy that's doing the interior art, too.
Right,
so
let's see what we got.
Neon Future #1.
I'm going to go on the hub right now.
It's on there. I'm telling you. Jan191944, 1945, and 1946.
Really,
give those codes to your comic book shop and tell Neon Future from Impact Theory Comics, $3.99. Can't beat that. And Jim Kruger's a great writer.
Can you pre-order that far ahead digitally? Like, can somebody...
It's possible. Yeah, I mean, Comixology, a lot of that stuff will be available in advance. I don't know if it goes up exactly when previews goes up. I mean, it might as well if it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't see it listed here on our Comixology storefront, but that could change in the coming weeks in the lead up to release. So we will let you guys know if that's on there.
So I got it. It is on here.
Yep. If you have Instagram, you could follow them at IT Comics. It's Comics, Impact Theory Comics. IT Comics is your, if you want to check out their artwork and everything on there. So thank you to the guys at Impact Theory Comics and Neon Future. Good luck with the comic. And we are definitely stocking it here at Comics Conspiracy. So if you want to check it out, we'll have plenty of copies.
I'm gonna place my order now.
Look at that. Cha-ching. The Hub.
I'm going to add it to
Hub
my
Lover.
cart.
Hub Lover Brock's already ordered a copy.
Hold on, man. You're distracting me. I'll just do that for now.
But yeah, thank you once again to everyone over there at Impact Theory Comics, and check out the book if you like
order
indie sci-fi comics. Definitely check it out. It was a decent first issue. We are going to move on now to our regular episode. It's good to be back with a normal episode, he says, lying through his teeth. Man, it has been a crazy month. Like I'm barely back on a normal schedule.
Well, the thing is for almost a month, you didn't actually work at the shop, like on busy days.
No, my schedule was so thrown off.
Yeah.
I was off a ton or on vacation. We pre-recorded a bunch of the podcast episodes. It was just a crazy month. We were all traveling, and then we did our end of year on like the one day I was back home, and oh man, what up? But now everything's back.
Hopefully, everyone enjoyed our end of year episodes.
We have this is going to be. This was supposed to be the end of year episode for comic sales charts, and it is, except Diamond never released the December sales charts yet. I don't know what's up with that. They released the end of year sales charts, including top sales in numbers, but not the actual December numbers. So
maybe somebody deleted the file?
I don't know. So next week, I guess we'll do December numbers because that'll be up. But we have end of year numbers to talk about, and our personal top 10. I actually have our top 20 comics here. Our top 10 graphic novels, and then Diamond's top 10 comics and graphic novels. Here's a question. Which would you like to do, and which would you like to guess? What do you want to do first, and what do you want to guess? Do you want to guess Diamond's numbers or our personal store numbers?
For December or end of year?
No, this is end of year. This is total number of comics sold, top 10. I actually have top 20. And then, I was counting.
Let's start with our numbers.
You want to do our numbers first?
I want to do our numbers.
Do you guys want to start? Do you want to guess a few? Since we don't have the December numbers.
Obviously, if you're doing the full, and you're doing individual issues, you're not doing series, right?
Individual issues, variant covers have been included.
So the wedding issue of Batman would be in there.
Batman number 50 is our number 3 comic of the year. Correct.
Action Comics 1000.
Of course. Action Comics 1000 is our... I didn't even look up the number on it because I knew it was our number 1. Nothing comes even close to that. Action Comics number 1000 was our number 1 comic by 4 times the next number. Absolutely crazy.
Did Batman Damned hit the list?
No. And that would have...
If we could have ordered more.
Yeah. Actually looking at my number 20, it probably would have... I think it would have basically tied... The last 4 spots were basically within a couple of units of each other, and it probably would have been right in there.
Okay.
For number 1. Yeah.
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four, number 1 is the number 2 book. All variant covers included. We did sell a lot of Fantastic Four number 1s.
Spider-Man 700?
Close. Spider-Man 800.
Oh, 800.
Is on the list.
Whatever large number Spider-Man there was.
Spider-Man 800 is the number 9 book for Comics Conspiracy, but that is not the only one on here. There are actually 2 other Spider-Man books on here. Spider-Man Venom vs. Spider-Man. That's the Marvel... the reprint of Amazing Spider-Man 300.
300,
yeah. True Believers is on here. And Spider-Man 798 is actually our number 6 book. That's the first appearance of Red Goblin, and that was...
That's because you ordered a lot of reprints.
Oh, no.
No, that's
we had
because
first
they
prints.
told people
They told us.
Oh, yeah, they told
right.
us, yeah.
Right.
I forgot about that one.
Yes, it helps when you can order informed.
Was Man of Steel on there?
No Man of Steel.
Okay.
Not enough variant covers.
Doomsday Clock.
Doomsday Clock's got a few spots on here. So in the top 10, Doomsday Clock number 4. Oh, sorry. Number 3 is the number 5 book, and number 4 is the number 10 book.
Okay.
I believe the number 3, that number may be bumped up a little bit because we did some resell of that to other comic stores, and I tried to strip that out of it. But looking at these numbers, I might have missed that, but it still would be in roughly the same position because we didn't sell a ton of extra copies. But 3 was the last issue we went kind of a little balls crazy on.
Yeah.
4 and on, we're down to just kind of our the amount we should. It's still a top 10 book, right? It's still incredible.
We're still selling
seller.
it off the shelf.
Oh, I mean, we're out of. I think I have 2 copies of number 1 left.
Yep.
number one would be the number 2 book of this year if it came out last year.
Yeah.
Because it would have been, number 1 sold.
Yeah,
we've sold
really
every single copy we've got. It's a staggering
Didn't we get
number.
how many did we get of that?
A lot.
Dark Knight Metal.
Yes. A couple spots. Bunch of spots, actually. Metal number 6 was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Was the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, I can't count.
Can you put numbers next to the things?
Number 6 was the number 7 spot. Number 5 was the number 8 spot. Oh wait, Doomsday. Hold on, I didn't finish Doomsday Clock. Let me finish this up. Doomsday Clock 4 was number 10. Doomsday Clock 5 was number 11. Doomsday Clock 6 was number 13. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so 3 spots in the top 20 for Doomsday Clock. Yes, Metal. Now people forget Metal came out in 2018.
Yeah.
It's in January and February. Yeah, so Metal number 6 is the number 7 book. Metal number 5 is the number 8 book. Metal Dark Knight Rising Wild Hunt is the number what's that, number 15? No, 16, number 16.
Okay. Did Walking Dead hit it?
No Walking Dead. Let's go in the top 20. Let's clear this out. So there's 2 issues in here. It's DC's big event of 2018. Surprised no one's mentioned it yet.
Here's in Crisis?
Here's a Crisis.
Nice.
Number 1 was the number 12 book, and number 2 was the number 15 book. So I didn't crack the top 10, but pretty high up there. The only other ones we're missing are number 17, 18, 19, and 20. They're all the same title.
Justice League?
Justice League No Justice, issues 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Nice.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, issues 3, 1, 2, and 4, 17, 18, 19, and 20. We sold a few extra copies of 3. Oh, what's up with that? Super
What was
weird.
the Jim? No, there wasn't. Not No Justice.
No. Yeah. And they all sold within, literally a couple copies of each other, except 3 I sold, 5 more. Huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. Really weird.
Maybe you sold some to another store.
I don't think so.
Maybe another store in the area sold out, and somebody.
I think I remember you had some extras of that one, so you sold it.
Well, I don't have any of them anymore. I think I have some extra ones. I think that's all we had left. So am I missing anything in the top 10? Let's see. Doomsday Clock, Spidey, Metal, Spidey, Doomsday Clock. Oh, well, and we are missing the number 4 book, and that is Justice League number 1. Charlie just said Justice League. So, yeah, the number 4 book is Justice League. So, from the top, Action Comics 1000, Fantastic Four number 1, Batman 50, Justice League number 1, Doomsday Clock 3, Amazing Spider-Man 798, Metal 6, Metal 5, Amazing Spider-Man 800, and Doomsday Clock 4. Those are my top 10 sold comic books at Comics Conspiracy in 2018. Man, big books this year. What a year.
Yeah, but that's still a little depressing. Because there were a lot of big events that came out, especially, I'm just thinking this was also like the Return of Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not, Return of Wolverine is not
but
same
a couple
as any of those.
A couple years ago, a book like that would have.
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. FF really clicked with people.
Yeah.
We did really, really good with FF. I still have quite a few left, but we sold I had people that went in all on the big variant cover sets. We sold a lot of Fantastic Four. So very, very good.
Yeah, so with that comic having come out, and they're doing a big push on FF in Marvel Puzzle Quest right now, and I've seen a few other places that just now are starting to push FF in some of the other mobile games and that stuff.
Well, what's funny is that the top 3 books are all oversized.
These are all almost all of them are $4.99 books, $5.99 books. Yeah, and people are.
Well, Action was $10.
Yeah. No, it was $7.99. It was
$7.99.
Detective is $9.99. I don't know if you saw that.
I don't care.
$10. Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, Action was $7.99. Amazing Spider-Man 800 was $9.99. Batman 50 was $5.99. FF was $6.99. Come on, people don't care, right?
Well, people don't care because these are milestone issues, but on a regular basis,
I don't know. The way I kind of look at it is, as much as I'm hesitant to say that the cost of issues don't have an impact on certain things, they will never have an impact on Batman or any of the big stuff.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I still would argue that having a price like that on some smaller titles will prevent somebody from giving it a try.
Yeah.
But
Let's look at Diamond Comics top-selling comics by units for 2018. Number 1, no surprise, Action Comics 1000.
How many units was that again?
They don't say.
Oh, they don't.
No, it was about 500,000.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, Comic-Con has them. I'm pulling a lot of this info from comiccron.com. They have their own personal numbers up, and once the end of year numbers, they'll have a top 1,000 comic list, right? But pretty soon, and once that list hits, Comiccon will run their numbers. So we'll have more stuff probably to talk about next week or two. Action Comics 1000, Amazing Spider-Man 800, Batman 50, Fantastic Four number 1, the relaunched Amazing Spider-Man number 1. That's the number 5 book. Number 6, Return of Wolverine number 1.
there we go.
Number 7, Venom number 1. Number 8, Amazing Spider-Man 798. Number 9, Batman Who Laughs. Batman Who Laughs was like number 21. It was basically tied with those Justice League No Justice books.
Okay.
It's just like a copy or two out.
Yeah.
We sold out. I actually got more. So the copies we got in this week at number 1 might bump it up. Like, it was within like a couple copies.
Oh, wow.
So if I sell those copies, I mean, it wouldn't sell in 2018, but it would be right there with it. Amazing Spider-Man 799 is the number 10 book. So obviously, number 1's big events, relaunches, anniversary issues, they still dominate the charts. People like to complain about them, but these 10 comics have something like 75 covers, or actually, hell, they probably have brought 125 covers between these books alone. I mean, Action had 10, Spidey 800 had...
Actions had all the...
store exclusive covers.
Store exclusive covers. Batman 50 had, 50 some odd
Something
covers?
crazy, yeah. Amazing Spider-Man 800 had 24 covers in store. FF number 1 had 26 covers.
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man number 1 had about 10 or 12. Return of Wolverine had like 40.
You're looking at 300 covers.
Shit,
between
you probably are. Jesus. Yeah, all
See,
these books have...
this is me just going, and that just shows how much more they fucked up that Avengers anniversary.
Which one? The
Didn't they
700?
have the one recently that...
issue 700.
Yeah.
I mean, we sold quite a few. I sold a decent chunk of the variants. I just didn't get a ton for the shelf because it's fucking expensive. And
Speaking of variants,
for me, it's still one of those that I didn't see it really promoted. I barely noticed it when it came out.
Yeah.
And it didn't
I mean, it's just another issue of Avengers. Yeah, like it wasn't anything special.
on the note of variants, how's those secret variants working out for Marvel this week?
They're total garbage. Nothing to talk about. I'm sure you'll see all that on Bleeding Cool tomorrow. Let's look at our top 10 graphic... No, this may actually be a fun guessing game because I don't know if you guys would know our top 10 graphic novels.
I have a guess.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's not on the list.
I'm just
but
curious
I'm
if it was the one that was returned.
Okay.
No, not the one. Well, I don't think it's the one I'm thinking of.
Now we are not a traditionally heavy graphic novel store compared to some, right? Our top selling graphic novels are not selling hundreds of copies, right? But our numbers are up on graphic novels. It's a little more long tail. We're selling a few copies of a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Right. So, but obviously there are a handful that definitely rise to the top.
So I want to know if Monstrous is on that list.
Monstrous number 3 is the number 10 book. It is on this list.
That's what
Monstrous has been a very good seller for us.
I sold one on Sunday.
So.
Did one of the Batman trades hit there?
No Batman on the top 10.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know. Oh, what the hell am I talking about? Take that back. Dark Knight Metal is our number 2 trade of 2018. Yeah, sorry. Absolutely.
I'm assuming that means White Knight didn't make it.
No, that was too late in the year.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, that came out right at the very end of the year.
Did we get Saga?
Yeah, it doesn't have a nice deluxe hardcover yet.
Yeah.
Saga?
Oh, you know it, baby. Saga Volume 1 is the number 7 book. Number 8 is the number 8 book. And number 9 is the number 9 book. So, Saga keeps selling, keeps selling.
Was the Kirby Omnibus this past year?
Yeah, but that wasn't in our top 10.
That wasn't in our top 10.
No. It was still quite... I mean, by
It's definitely
dollar...
our top omnibus.
by dollar amount, it might.
Yeah.
It probably did by dollar, but not by unit.
God, what else came out that was like big?
You got 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 6. I mean, if there's going to be a Marvel book on this list, well, there's 2 Marvel books on this list, but one of them, if there's going to be
Vision.
one, well, Vision is on this list, but it's not that book. It's a different book. Vision is higher.
Oh, Infinity Gauntlet.
Infinity Gauntlet. All right. This is a big year for Infinity Gauntlet. A lot of people checking out for Infinity War. So that was 10, 9, 8, 7. So that's number 6. Number 5 and 4, both original graphic novels. One's from
the Ed Brubaker druggy thing.
That is number 4. My Heroes Have Always Been Junkies. Number 5, it's a DC original graphic novel.
Oh, the Wonder Woman 2?
Wonder Woman Earth 2. Volume 2. Sorry, Wonder Woman Earth 1 Volume 2. And then number 3, you said it earlier.
Huh?
Vision.
Yeah, Vision.
The Vision hardcover.
God,
book of the year.
Dude, I sold the shit out of that thing.
Yeah, we sold a lot of those.
I think I bought 3 copies myself.
Well, you bumped it up the charts. Yep, number 2 is Dark Knights. Number 1.
Huh?
What's our number 1 book? Come on, son. You shipped 50 of them.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's the Superman.
The Action Comics Deluxe hardcover thing.
Action Comics, 80 years of Superman hardcover. Yep.
I was like, I forgot.
And again, because of the sets, our numbers in here actually are, it's way higher than this, but because it was split out between the individual and the copy that came with the set, the number on here, it is still the number 1 as individual unit. You have the set sales on top of it, and it's like 3 times higher than the next book. So, what a year for Superman. Let's hope Batman can pull the same stuff coming up here with Detective.
I mean, people need to pre-order that set of the Detective 1000. They can do it through us.
Comics
but
Conspiracy.
does Detective have a nice little hardcover
Yep.
coming
Sure
out?
does.
Nice.
Comicsconspiracy.biz. We have Detective Comics 1000 sets. All 11 covers, including the blank cover, or all 11 covers plus the 80 years of Detective Comics hardcover. Those are both available. Link on the front page of comicsconspiracy.biz. Ships beautifully packed by Brock at the end of March when the book ships. I believe it's 27th, same day as Neon Future. You can throw that in there
nice.
too.
I can throw that in there.
See, now I'm just sitting here super curious what made it into that hardcover.
You haven't seen the Action hardcover?
No, I've seen the Action hardcover. I didn't see the solicitation for the Detective.
It's up. Yeah, it's up. It's all up there. I mean, it's
just the essays and like a reprint of 27, and
I mean,
like they reprint a couple random key
they
things.
reprint like 25 issues. Yeah, it's all the same. It's exactly like the actual one. It's a bunch of first appearances and some cool issues from Detective.
Cool.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the essays and the Action, and it was great to have the kind of just those key issues in a collected format.
Yep.
You still have the Action hardcovers. Right?
Yeah. I still got a few. Yeah.
So if you didn't get one,
we are out of sets of Action Comics 1000. There's a couple covers. I think 2 covers we're totally out of, but I think we have everything else. Yeah. Top graphic novels by units from Diamond Comics. Top 10. I'll go 10 to 1. Number 10, Monstrous Number 1. Or Volume 1, I'm sorry. Number 9, Dark Knight's Metal hardcover. Number 8, Batman White Knight. There you go. And you know what? Like, I haven't sold nearly as many White Knights as Metal. Like, Metal was just like boom,
as I said,
boom.
You need a nice deluxe hardcover, and
this is the problem that DC's having is they're not doing that deluxe nice hardcover first.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Tom King and Mitch Gerardis are like pumping the Mr. Miracle trade that's coming out next month.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I know like 10 people that are like, nope.
I'm like, I want the deluxe hardcover.
Yeah.
Like, I will buy a soft cover because it's going to be a birthday present from my dad.
Yeah.
And my dad doesn't care like the if it's Charlie size or regular size. But again, I'm like, I literally tweeted today at DC, where's the deluxe hardcover at DC?
It's
like,
stupid.
come on.
that's okay. I was super pissed off for like 2 seconds, and then I realized, no, the person who posted that was just wrong. Because there's like an exclusive cover going to Barnes & Noble, but somebody posted on Facebook, like, the exclusive deluxe hardcover. I'm like,
No.
it's just a cover. The person was wrong.
Oh, they're doing a different cover for Barnes & Noble? Ugh.
So the number 7.
Yeah, but they've done that a couple times.
The number 7 trade from Diamond, and I know I fully believe this deserves to be up here, but I'll explain why I think it's so high. Number 7, Paper Girls Volume 1. Image did a crazy deal on Paper Girls 1 and Saga Volume 1, where stores could get them ridiculously cheap, and I'm assuming that bumped it much higher up the list than it normally would have been, because I ordered a crap load, and I'm like, cool, I'll have this forever, sell it cheap. Number 6 is Walking Dead Volume 29. You know, when our Walking Dead trade sales are way down, so I'm surprised this is so high. Number 5, Action Comics 80 Years of Superman. Number 4, Saga Volume 8. Number 3, Saga Volume 1. Number 2, Saga Volume 9. It's just like ours. And number 1, of course, Infinity Gauntlet.
You know what?
Our list looks very similar to our top 10. Very similar.
It makes me hearken back to a time when the number one graphic novel of the year could have been Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, but Marvel couldn't get their shit together.
So very, very similar numbers there from our top 10 graphic novels.
I mean,
and comics, honestly. Like, the lists are not so dissimilar. There's a lot of crossover.
Yeah, but it is kind of nice. So, yes, you have the Infinity Gauntlet on there because of the movie, but you also have a lot of fairly recent series or recent releases in the list this year.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, and especially trade lists in previous years, you'd see a lot of, like, Walking Dead Volume 1s and Civil War and, like...
Yeah.
Well, I've noticed a lot, like, when I'm working and people are coming in, a lot of people are coming in to buy the graphic novels. Like, I think our readership of graphic novels has increased.
Oh, yeah. No,
so,
quite a bit, yeah.
And not just looking for classic collections, They seem to be re-engaging with current comics in graphic form, which is nice.
Yeah. So let's what was I going to say? We don't have the December numbers, but we do want to talk very briefly about the end of year numbers from Diamond. Sales of single issue comic books were up 3.3% in 2018 over 2017. Graphic novel. The dollar amount for comic books were up 3.3%. The graphic novel dollar sales, however, were down 6.6%. But if you were to combine all this together, because they sell a lot of comic books, year over year, 2018 over 2017, the year is up 0.6%. So, look, the last couple of years, people are crying about the death of the comic book industry, and we have a question about that later. I'll get to that in a little bit, but some articles that came out recently. But not only is it not dying, it's up. 0.6% is not a ton, but it's up. That's huge. That is huge, right?
So I don't disagree that it's good that it's up and that that's huge, but we just went over some of the really big milestones and stuff that happened this year that definitely...
goose those numbers a little bit. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a year that all these big books came out, and yet if you talk to retailers, a lot of them make it sound like the industry is collapsing, it's dying, they're all going out of business, but sales are up overall with the industry. Those graphic novel sales being down, I guarantee you a big part of that has to do with the fact that a lot of comic stores, ourselves included, have bypassed Diamond on some graphic novels because you can get free shipping and better terms through a lot of the bookstore distributors. So if Diamond's out of a book, and it's going to take me 2 or 3 weeks to even know if they'll get more in, I could turn around and get it from a book distributor and have it back in stock within 3 to 5 days at free shipping, right? And returnability. Like, it's a no-brainer to go to some of these book distributors for graphic novels that Diamond is just straight out of.
That's actually a very good insight. I like that.
Yeah, and things like Scholastic, things that are even Marvel and DC stuff they have, obviously, but for non-Marvel and DC product, again, you can get that stuff relatively the same price at much better rates outside of shipping rates and returnability from bookstore distributors. So,
not that I want to sidetrack us too much. I'm just curious, how good is the returnability with some of the?
Well, it's basically like you get like a percent wise that you can return for credit towards more purchase. It's like every year you're allowed like a certain percent in. So we haven't really dealt with returns because I don't order.
Well, I mean, trade,
returns.
You wouldn't turn around and return it after, like, someone would have to sit on the shelf a long time before you're like, yeah, this is never going to sell.
No, I mean, it would be like, we get 20 copies, we sell 10 or 15 in the first few weeks, then I return 5 and have a couple for the shelf. Like, that's how it works. Bookstores work like that. They front load those first few weeks. A new Stephen King book comes out. Those first few weeks, they front load a shitload of them, and then they return the unsold ones to after a couple months for more product. And that's typical. Comics through Diamond, we get a better discount, but no returnability.
Yeah,
is that worth it? Well, when you factor in shipping, it's almost, for some of this stuff, you might as well go through the book distributor, get returnability. It's a lesser profit, but you're not paying the extra cost on top of it, right? So,
and is it a percent on the individual thing or on the order as a whole?
What's that?
So, say you placed an order with the book distributor and you went, okay, we need this many copies of Batman But you know what? I wouldn't have ordered this book normally, but let's bring it in, give it a try, knowing that you could return it if it doesn't.
No, it's on like a year account. I mean, there's a few different options. Not everything's going to be the same from every company, but you're basically given the ability to go through, and if you spend $10,000 a year, you can return $1,000 worth of product.
Well, that's why I was wondering. I was just wondering if it would allow you to take a chance on some stuff that you wouldn't necessarily take a chance on through Diamond.
Yeah, no, I had actually kind of forgone the book distributors in the recent years because. As shocking as it sounds, Diamond's ordering system was light years ahead of everyone else's, right? And but now with Comic Hub, and there's a site called Pub Easy, and Baker and Taylor, who is a book distributor, they've made some changes the last year or two, and I've finally started looking back into it. So I've been in contact with these guys to get our accounts back up and running because I had a couple accounts out that I've done some small orders here and there on, but nothing major to kind of just fill in missing stuff. But this year, that's going to be a bigger shift to that stuff.
Getting you,
I know.
having to get my Star Wars books.
Well, yeah, all that stuff's available through them.
Yeah.
No, the main reason I was wondering is just I know there's a fair amount of trades that we don't order into the shop anymore because. Historically, they haven't sold well, or it just is not worth risking having that money tied up in that book.
Well, I'm still, long-term goal for Comic Hub. I want them to access Baker and Taylor's internal system. I want them to access Diamond's internal system. And you order that book, and we have it for you. You know, and it's like it's a live feed from the distributor's end where we can just order that stuff straight, right? And like I don't have to worry about, well, let me check, blah blah blah. It's just boom. Yeah. It's in stock. I get the order, process the order, push it through, done. You know, the book will be here in a few days to a week or two, and we get it right in. That's still my long-term goal. I would love to see that happen. Don't know if it's going to. So, a lot of the real nitty-gritty when it comes to comics, our discuss of the sales chart stuff we'll have in future weeks, especially when we get to December's numbers. Dollar share, Marvel Comics, 38.24% of all products shipped through Diamond went to Marvel, 40.40% of the units. DC with 30.04% of the dollar share and 33.82% of the units. Image had 9.93% of the dollar, 9.9% for the unit share, just shy of that 10% market that they usually have. IDW at 3.83% for the dollar, 3.3% for units. Dark Horse at 2.92% of the dollar share and 2.10% for the units.
Last year?
I don't have comparison numbers for last year. And everything else down the charts. Boom, Dynamite, Viz, Titan, Oni, and 8.01% of all other comics. Or sorry, 8.01% represents all other comics for the dollar share, and 5.25% for unit share. So
was the overall thing up this year?
Yeah, sorry, Brock, you stepped away for a second. I will recap briefly.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. Comic book sales were up 3.3%. Graphic novel sales were down 6.6%, but because of the number of single issues to sell over graphic novels, that led to a year increase of 0.6%.
Oh wow!
Again, as to kind of recap what I was saying to Charlie. For a year with a lot of doom and gloom, it's up.
Yeah.
0.6%, but it's up.
It's up.
That's
we'll take it.
That ain't too bad. That ain't too bad.
But again, reflective, our store, we're up from our sales last year, right?
Yeah. I was hoping to have some kind of more brief numbers. I have a rough number in my head. We're up 8%. I'm going to say roughly 8% over 2018. Over 2017.
And that's with the increase in cost too.
Well, that's just total income, right? I mean, yeah. So, but that's gross profit and all that. So everything else, I mean, that's for the accountants to figure out. They deal with that.
You're like, I just sell the books. I don't deal with the numbers too much. That's for the tax men
to figure out. I can't be bothered with that. Yeah. So. Good year for comics. A lot of big books. Obviously, Detective Comics 1000 more than likely will repeat Action Comics 1000's topping of the charts. We'll have to see when that comes out in a few months. In a few months. Jesus, in a year.
When is FOC on that?
Oh, not till mid February. Or no, like end of February, first week of March. Well, okay. Yeah. We still got quite some time. We are going to talk. Well, actually, let's talk about some movies. Aquaman over this weekend.
Join a club.
Join the club, the 1B club, baby. 1 billion.
God, those comic book movies
It's over, man. Nobody wants to see them anymore.
So yeah, nobody wants to see them.
The DCU, it's dead. Yeah. Nobody cares about these characters. It's over. Shut it down. Everyone hates comic book movies. Everyone hates DC. $1 billion. Now, international, Aquaman is just crushing it.
Oh, yeah.
China, huge numbers. I believe Sunday it passed Dark Knight. We are currently at $1.022 billion as of right now. Let me see if I can get some. It is the number 3 underwater movie of all time. It just overtook Shark Tale. So Finding Dory and Finding Nemo, though, man, just they're not going to beat it.
It beat Titanic.
I love these. Well, Titanic's only half underwater, right? I mean, it starts above water.
This is fully underwater. Okay.
Yeah, when you're looking domestic, there's just, I mean, yes, the number 6 movie of the last year. I mean, yeah, big numbers for Aquaman. Just crazy. Domestic 289. It's very respectable. It's very, very good. It's not the best, but that's still a really good number. But 733 foreign, that is huge. It did.
It's about to pass $1 billion foreign.
Basically, it made roughly the same amount in China as made here, which is that's a lot.
Yeah,
China really liked Aquaman, and I'm sure DC is very hungry to push out a sequel as fast as possible. Oh yeah, that's big money.
I know, you still need to see it in IMAX.
Yeah, I need to. I really like to. Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at domestic totals, I mean, there's a lot of movies that are well above it. But there's number 26 domestic
for the year.
Total. Oh, so for superhero movies, right?
Oh, okay.
I mean, Black Panther is $700 million, right? Domestic,
yeah,
right?
Right.
Infinity War did 678. Avengers did 623. Right? I mean, these are Incredibles 2 did 608 million. Dude, Incredibles 2 is not even that good. I can't believe it did that much. But
it
some
appeals
of these
to kids, man.
But some of these movies,
that's okay. Spider-Verse still beat it at the Golden Globes.
Yeah, I saw that. Dark Knight Lifetime was $1 billion and blah blah blah. Obviously
domestic or
that's worldwide.
Worldwide, okay.
Yeah. So even though a lot of these movies did beat it domestically, it's performing very, very well overseas. So good on Aquaman. Very
overseas
excited.
and underseas.
And underseas. What do we have this year?
We got
Shazam.
Captain Marvel coming up. Shazam.
Yep, Shazam's out in April. I was saying like June or July. I don't know why I had that date in my head. I was like, oh wait, no, it's April. It's like the day after my birthday.
Yeah, we have Captain Marvel, Shazam, Spider-Man: Far From Home,
Shazam,
which they just dropped the trailer.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Endgame.
Yep, obviously Avengers, and then
isn't New Mutants finally coming out this year?
Well, I was saying from DC we have Shazam. And we have
is Wonder Woman
Joker.
this year?
No, Wonder Woman is next year. Wonder Woman Birds of Prey next year. We have Shazam and Joker this year.
Yeah.
For Marvel, we have Spider-Man, Avengers,
Captain
Marvel. From Fox, whatever.
The old Fox?
Right. Maybe we get X-Men. Maybe we get New
Mutants. They have the trailers.
Yeah, but they had the trailers a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So, we don't know. Oh, what's up with those? It can be a weird year for comic movies.
We could even get a Venom 2 by the end of the year.
No, not by this year. But they're going to put that out very quickly. Yeah, I could see Venom 2 being out in 2020. They could start that really soon. I think they hired. I think it's basically the same creative team as coming on to do the second one. So, yes, Spider-Verse. I'm sorry, Spider-Verse. A Spider-Man Far From Home trailer dropped. If you want absolutely no spoilers, you may want to skip ahead a few minutes. But we can talk briefly about that. I mean, I don't think there's stuff to say. We're unsure of exactly when this takes place, just because.
Well, we know it takes place after somebody loses an eye.
You
like that?
Well, either way, it takes place after Homecoming.
Yes. What the hell am I saying?
We have no idea what you're saying because you don't.
We don't know
spoil,
if it's.
But we've just
the
said
story
we're
is
spoil.
prior to Endgame, or I'm saying it's after Endgame.
Yeah.
Because the fact it's coming out after Endgame, I don't see them.
6 months earlier, he goes to Europe.
Especially because, if I recall, and I'd have to go back, but if I recall, he was still in the outfit from Homecoming at the beginning of Infinity War.
Yes.
Yeah, seems right.
And he just
And
got
then-
the space suit to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, the outfit is a bit different in this one. So, in theory, he loses the Iron Spider outfit or
Yeah.
gets taken back and he gets a new outfit before this movie or during this movie or somewhere.
Yeah, it's very possible. Now, this is our first view of Mysterio. Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio. And I will say, can't show Mysterio's face, guys. Come on, what are you doing? If Tom Hardy can have the Bane mask on through an entire movie...
What are you talking about?
Right. I want that goddamn fishbowl on Jake Gyllenhaal's head for the whole movie.
Which is the mist.
Now,
I kind of don't.
Now, I mentioned this on Twitter. Comic book writers Dan Slott and who else was it? Someone else replied to me as well. Who the hell
Kurt
was it?
Busiek?
No. It was Joshua Williamson. They both had the same response at the same time. That was like, maybe it's an illusion, and that's not really his face. And I'm like, you guys make the rules. They have to follow your rules. You never see his face. Done. It's a Mysterio. You can't show his head. It's just that fucking fishbowl.
So, for me, based on what they seem to be going for in the movie, with the whole I'm a hero
It's like
angle,
it's his origin.
Yeah.
The first appearance of first appearance. Is that Mysterio's first appearance or real early appearance?
Yeah.
He fakes being a hero.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
makes Spider-Man out to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, for me, if you're going to do that, it works better giving him a fake face that will appeal to the general public.
Yeah. I mean, when you first see him, I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Because and the second is he gets the bowl on his head, I'm like, oh, that's supposed to be Mysterio.
No, for me, it was as soon as you got a good look at his costume, I'm like, oh, that's Mysterio.
It looks weird without the fishbowl head.
Hey,
that's all I'm saying.
Just be happy we're finally getting Mysterio.
Yeah, he's kind of one of the big ones we haven't got. Who have we got? So we've got Green Goblin.
We got Green Goblin. We've gotten
Doc Ock.
We got Doc Ock.
twice.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, twice?
Did we get him twice? No. Oh, no, because it was the Shocker.
No.
We got Lizard.
Lizard.
Yeah, we did get... Wait, Lizard? How did we get Lizard?
Wasn't he in Amazing Spider-Man, the first one?
Oh, Jesus Christ. You're right.
We got Lizard. We got... Didn't we get Vulture? Yeah, we got Vulture in Homecoming.
Vulture in Homecoming. Rhino, technically.
Yeah.
At the end of Spider-Man 2.
2.
Right.
Because Spider-Man 2 gave you Shocker and...
It wasn't Shocker. No, the Homecoming had Shocker as like a background.
Oh, yeah,
guy.
it was Electro.
Electro, yeah. Cut in name only.
Yes.
Yeah, we got Vulture.
We have Sandman.
We had Sandman. We have
So,
Venom.
going back to this trailer, when the trailer first starts, I'm like, Sandman, Hydro Man.
So this is the question. Is that Sandman, Hydro Man, and Molten Man, or is that just Mysterio making those?
I think it's just Mysterio.
I think it's just Mysterio.
I would like to think it's a combination of both.
No, that because the Sandman that they did in Spider-Man 3 was good. Like I liked the.
I don't think that's supposed. I don't know. Is that supposed to be? I mean, that doesn't feel like Sandman.
The one from Spider-Man 3?
No, in this.
No, in this it doesn't feel like it. Like
No,
I liked the one
clearly, if not, Hydro Man and Molten Man inspired by them, if nothing else.
You know, I could see them having somebody else there, especially if they cross origin to a degree.
Yeah.
Sort of like have the Mysterio doing something with special effects to grant them.
Yeah.
So we can defeat them, etc., and then having something go wrong and actually creating one of them.
You could see
I
that.
could see them doing that.
Yeah.
What about the Chameleon?
Yeah, no Chameleon.
Oh,
Not yet.
I would love a movie with the Chameleon.
But good trailer, funny, fun. We could see Nick Fury too, so he survives the snap. Yeah.
Yes. Apparently, they upped his contract again.
yeah. He keep eating and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I loved Homecoming, so very excited for Far From Home. And
you love the music in the trailer too.
Oh yeah, Ramones, man, hell yeah, 24 hours ago, so good.
And apparently his friend gets sedated.
I know he does.
That was bad.
Yeah.
And Aunt May is still hot.
Happy Hogan getting a little.
That was great.
That was funny. Again, I don't want to go too much. Just trailer. We don't have too much else to talk about, but it was definitely fun. Definitely a fun trailer. And
I think it is funny though
they've nailed those
Bubble Boy is all grown up now.
Bubble Boy.
Jake Gyllenhaal played Bubble Boy.
Oh, was he Bubble Boy?
He was Bubble Boy in the Bubble Boy movie. Now he has a suit and a
now he's a bubble
dome helmet.
Should we do questions? I think I'm done. I think it's question time.
Is it question time, Charlie?
Let's do some questions.
Yeah.
Do you guys realize what we forgot to do on this podcast?
What do we do? Or what didn't we do?
We didn't even introduce ourselves.
Why would we bother introducing ourselves?
No, we didn't introduce.
If they've made
Really?
it this far into...
And you know how long it's been since they've gotten an and?
There is no and this week.
What did I say at the beginning of this podcast?
We were too busy pushing the comic.
Yeah, we're talking about puppies.
Puppies in Neon Future.
Did we not?
Yeah.
No, I thought...
No, we didn't introduce ourselves.
Well, I'm Ryan.
I'm
That's
Brock. Come on.
I'm not going to do it.
Come on.
They'll have to tune in next week.
Close enough. Anyway, we got some questions.
And Charlie.
We got some questions.
Oh, did you also tell? We also forgot to tell him that wish Scott Snyder happy birthday because today's his birthday.
I was having a kid too, another one. So, kids, they happen.
they kill comic books.
Yeah. We got a question from
They don't kill comic books.
Dat Conquistador on Twitter.
Dat Conquistador.
Dat. Yeah, he says, "What do y'all think of the Deadly Class pilot? I'm assuming none of us have seen it because it's airing like now. Did you watch the Deadly Class pilot?
Not as of
Sci-fi?
right now.
For Commander book? Yeah.
I mean, I own
TiVo'd it.
the hardcovers. I fully intend to watch the show. Whether or not I stick with it is... Like, I watched all of the first season of Happy, but it took me a long time to get through it.
It's like 8 episodes or something. It's not even that long.
I don't know. I know if you watch it, you'll just like the music.
In Deadly Class?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's all 80s music. Yeah, I TiVo'd it. I'll definitely check out the first episode, if nothing else. I expect I'll keep on.
Now that Lucifer's on Netflix, I can finally catch up on season 3.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's good. Got a couple questions from Norman.
Bates?
Oh, come on. What kind of question is this? Who's the better criminal mind, Mr. Glass or Lex Luthor? What the fuck? Mr. Glass is nothing. Lex Luthor, are you kidding me? Like, what kind of question is that, Norman? You know, I am like... I know we've talked about this before, but I want to reiterate here. Unbreakable? Don't really care for it.
I liked Unbreakable. I didn't see... What's the second one?
Yeah, sure. I have no idea.
Charlie, what's the second one?
Split?
Yeah.
Split. Yeah, I haven't
the
seen
new one?
Split yet.
I've seen Split. Glass isn't out yet, so I haven't seen that one. But
reviews are
mixed.
Well, it's going to be Unbreakable, Split, Glass.
Yeah, and I just don't care. Again, fake superheroes. I don't care.
I care.
Yeah.
I'll go see it.
Yeah, let me know how it is. I'm sure I'll see it eventually, but...
No, you won't.
I mean, I loved Unbreakable. I enjoyed Split. I'm up for Glass.
Yeah. How does...
Who's asking?
This is Norman. He goes, how does Charlie feel about Professor X, James McAvoy, jumping the franchise and starring as the villain in Glass? Do you care about that? Do you care about him?
He was in Split.
He's a great actor.
Yeah.
I mean, his role in Split
right?
was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have no problem whatsoever. I think he's a fantastic actor.
I was going to say there's no more X-Men movies, so...
Not to mention, like...
Well, no, we're supposed to get one more.
They do a very good job not making... Like, I can watch him in other stuff, and I'm never being like, that's Professor... No, I kind of forget about it. Like,
yeah.
Atomic Blonde and his role in Atomic Blonde and, like, stuff like... Yeah. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
I like him.
No, but when you see Patrick Stewart... You're like, oh, there's Professor X.
I defaulted Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah, I know. But I figured there's one of the two.
Yeah.
Norman says, how has the reaction been to Detective Comics 1000, the covers, that is. Outside of 2 or 3 of them, the rest are kind of boring. Much more thought seems to have gone into the Action Comics 1000 covers. I'm talking the standard covers, not any store variants. And I'm kind of middle of the road on the Detective Comics covers. And I was like this with Action as well.
Yeah.
Some I really like.
Yeah.
1 or 2 I'm like, meh. And the rest are like, yeah, they're fine. They're fine covers. I think I don't know if they save their like kind of really big guns for those store exclusive covers and other stuff.
I think they do it for like these big ones.
Yeah, because but again, the artists kind of have to match the style of the years. Francisco Mattina is not going to do a 1960s cover, right?
No,
I mean, a lot of these guys do good modern covers, right? But why does? Well, I mean, not that I not necessarily want to replace any of the covers, but where's Mike Allred's 1960s cover? He's going to do a companion piece to the Superman cover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
I think all told, I'm getting 4 of the covers.
It's kind of an interesting thing because I have specific images in my head of particular times when it comes to Batman, but I don't feel like I have as defined images in my head as I like. Most of the images in my head tend to be around big key things that were going on at the time or big character designs that were going at the time. I kind of only have a handful that come to mind of Batman that would like, this is what I would like.
Well, the 80s being Frank Miller was like perfect, but I'm like, but then that cover.
Yeah.
Should have reprinted Dark Knight.
Did they do Neil Adams for the 70s?
I don't remember who the 70s cover is. Look it up.
I don't know. If they would do a Bruce Timm cover, I would be all over that.
Well, he did. Who's doing the? Yeah, Tim's doing the 40s cover, right?
Is he?
Yeah, 1930s is Steve Rude, 40s is Bruce Timm. That's the Joker homage one.
Okay.
50s is Michael Cho, and the 50s cover. I'm sorry, I'm pulling up the list of the covers here. That's the Michael Cho ones. I apparently don't have that one here. 60s is Stranko, and that's the one who's kind of like, oh no, Michael Cho's the one with all the Batmen, all the different costume Batmen.
Yeah.
60s is the Stranko cover where he's flying around, flying over the kind of like purplish city. 70s is the Bernie Wrightson cover, and that cover's fucking awesome. 80s Frank Miller, and look, it's Frank Miller. It is what it is. 90s Tim Sale, which is actually, I know it's better than what he did. But 90s should have been like Kelly Jones, or 90s should have been.
I would have done Tim in the 90s.
Yeah,
and just
animated
leaned
series.
into
20s is Jock.
That one's nice.
2010s is Greg Capullo, and I don't believe they showed that cover yet. I could be wrong. I don't remember seeing that one. And then
I know I'm getting the main, the Jock, the Capullo, and the blank.
Yeah, and Jim Lee does the main cover, obviously.
Yeah.
I'll probably do we'll see.
I know David Finch has been tweeting about his cover that he's doing.
One of the store covers.
One of the store covers.
Armando, and I don't know if I have an answer for this, but maybe someone here does. Any recommendations for good comic collecting software for the Mac? I'm not a Mac guy, so I don't know. I have no clue.
Tweet at Toby.
Yeah, if anyone knows, send me a message if you use comic collecting software, and I'll pass it on to Armando. I'm just not a Mac guy, so I don't know what software.
I know that like there's more apps to do it now, and there's a couple of websites that do it, and you just sync it to it. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of websites, and that's probably the easier way to do it.
Yeah, I think Toby's even answered that before.
Yeah. Karuba? I'll say Karuba. I want to get into Hal Jordan's initial run as Green Lantern. What's the most affordable way to do that? I mean, if you're talking 60s, if you're talking Silver Age, the Green Lantern Silver Age collections that are out and available now. There's a couple of them at least.
They've done soft covers of those now, right?
Yeah. So they've reprinted the Silver Age stuff countless ways before. The current collections is just Green Lantern, the Silver Age collection.
Yeah.
If you were talking modern, obviously I would wait for the Jeff Johns first volume.
Well, no, you could pick up at least the Green Lantern, Green Arrow.
Yeah, it's not like that's sort of in between.
It's in between, but it's definitely some good Hal Jordan stuff.
But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for Silver Age stuff, there's just look up the Hal Jordan Silver Age collection. I believe
that reminds me that they're finally putting out 0 Hour in an omnibus.
I saw
I'm
that.
super excited for
I think
that.
there's 2. There may be 3 out for Green Lantern, but yeah. Let's see. Verum Libertas, I love Twitter names, says, you may have mentioned it before on the show, but are the 2 articles you've shared claiming doom and gloom for the direct market, are they onto anything or way off base? So there's been a couple of these, and I've talked a little bit about these online. One's on ICV2.
Was this was the last one about the shop that closed?
No. The 2 big ones, one was on ICV2 called Something's Gotta Give, I believe is what the article's called. And the more recent one was the current Tilting at Windmills by Brian Hibbs. It's called...
Tilting at the Windmill?
Well, that's the name of the series,
but
it's the most recent. It's got the image head is like Death of Superman. It's like the death of the direct market or something like that. And I kind of hinted it around these articles earlier in the podcast. My reaction to all these have been that every store is different, and no 2 stores are going to kind of do things the same. So,
which you have a really great Twitter thread on that.
Yeah. I talked about this a bunch a few weeks back. Well, what's going to work for one store won't necessarily work for another store, and it is sort of annoying to see so many retailers who should know this that are like, "Oh, this is broken and it needs to change." When again, we're looking at an up year for comic book sales. We're looking at strong sales for variant covers. There's always some concern and room to grow and things that are going wrong. God knows I've complained left and right on this podcast about every company at one point or another, usually Marvel, about their weird practices and the hoops you have to jump through and problems we've had. But at the end of the day, I think if you're smart and you pay attention and you listen to your customers and join the 20th century and get Comic Hub or get
some software,
some way
US software that's going to work.
Or do subscription services. Look, you're not going to be Midtown. I'm not Midtown, but you can do something, right? There's a few options out there for you. You pay attention to your customers. You don't go crazy. Don't order cases of stuff. Order to sell out of a lot of it. Yep. Have a couple copies left over of some other stuff. Reorder when necessary.
At least one of these that I read mirrored a lot of what you're saying in terms of what he does now is order just for subscribers on this level of stuff. And
that's not that's not like some fucking come to Jesus moment. I mean, that's just how that's how you should have always been doing this. If I'm ordering 10 copies of a book and I sell 8 every single month, why am I ordering those 2 extra copies? Yeah. This is not rocket science, right?
No, but so I think it was the one, I'm trying to remember which one it was, but a lot of what he talked about was if you want me to bump my orders on these books that you're trying to push that I'm only ordering for subscribers, this is what you would need to do to make it worth it for me to do so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So this is the one I believe Phil Boyle, I believe that's the ICV2 one.
ICV2.
Yeah.
And he's like, you can get us better discounts, returnability. For every 5 copies we order, we get an extra copy, things like that, right? Or if you hit this amount, any additional copy is 50 cents, right? Yeah. Various ways to bump to goose those numbers. And I don't disagree with any of this stuff, but the base argument that the industry is broken, I think, is incorrect. I would love better discounts. I would love returnability. I would love a $100 bill stapled to the front of every comic book, right? I'm going to fight on some of these.
I don't want a bill stapled to the front of the comic. That ruins the condition, man.
I'll bag and board it with the comic, and I'll take it out.
And slide it $100.
Yeah. There are problems. There are things that can change, right? But FF #1 doesn't become my #2 book of 2018 with one cover, right?
Yeah, no, it's... And the thing is but, again, what were the top books for us? What were the top books for Diamond?
It's the same books
books with a billion things ordered.
And if you're getting stuck with cases of this shit, that's on you. That's not on Marvel. That's not on Diamond. when I don't hit those numbers, I tell my customers I can't get these variants. I'm sorry, and you move on to the next book. There are times where variants don't ship the first week and they're DOA week too, because people only care about them that first week. There's nothing really wrong with that as long as you acknowledge that and order appropriately.
Yep.
Like, I'm not going to say no to having stacks of Artgerm covers on the shelf. Like, we'll move them eventually. I'm not too worried about that. But I know, like, month after month, my numbers go up and down, but I tell people pre-order, reserve, look at your FOC. You've got to engage with these customers because they're going to come in Wednesday morning and then rush to the shelf, and you're going to be sold out of everything. But you can make it work if you put a little effort into it.
Well, and the thing is like the difficult part is it becomes a guessing game sometimes with certain things. Like, not everything is a guessing game when it comes to this stuff. If you're monitoring what you're selling and so on and so forth, you can take that book that you ordered 10 for, and you've ordered 10 for 2 months, and you've only sold 8 for 2 months. All right, it's time to cut it to sub only. Like how to, because we all know number 1 is up here, and then by the time we get to number 6, it's down here.
Right.
So, just to voice the takeaway I take from a lot of this is what you have to do to survive in the current market mirrors a lot of what we do in this shop, because you can't afford to sit on too many copies of a book on the shelf and that kind of stuff. But that being said, I do think there was some valid points in there, because not everything's going to be a FF number 1 or a Doomsday Clock.
Oh, of course.
And
Marvel's crazy to think that Uncanny X-Men number 11 should have 12 covers, right? I will not order most of those for the shelf, but that's just the straight fact.
Because of that, the takeaway I took from sort of the article isn't here's the how to be stable and in the market right now, but it was sort of this question of how do you push some of these other books up? What would have to change to allow the stuff that's not FF number 1 and not Detective 1000 and not Action 1000 and not...
One of the things Brian Hibbs said in his recent article was... comic stores used to order 300 copies of Amazing Spider-Man. And I'm like, well, first of all, that's nice. That wouldn't happen today. It's just not going to happen. No. And that also didn't happen back in the day. Most stores were not ordering 300 copies of Amazing Spider-Man. But when you have so many products on the shelf, what's happening now, and again, I've been saying this shit for years. Like, people don't listen to me.
What?
We have a widening. It used to be a small amount of customers all bought the same product, right? So the number on those small amount of products were very high. If you have a chart, you have a very few customers, but they were all buying everything, right? Now you have the most customers the comic industry has ever had, but their tastes are so fucking wildly varied that it is not, you're never going to sell 500 copies of Amazing Spider-Man. That's just not going to happen. Again, Midtown, whatever your number is, right? But what happens is, you look at the overall trend, and I guarantee you I'm selling more individual items now than I was because of variant covers, because of graphic novels. If you count a graphic novel as 8 comic books, right? I mean, you just take a look at the overall numbers, right? Yeah. The units moving out, I don't believe the numbers from Diamond are flat. If you go back the last 20 years, roughly flat. Up a couple times, down a couple times, but overall, on average, pretty flat. We're moving a lot of product, and it's just not, with some stores going away, but the number being flat from Diamond, all that means is that those stores that are around are selling more product.
Because a lot of times the stores that are going under, people now go over to another store.
For some people,
so that'll
of course.
bump a store's
and you have
up.
Just so many different ways to do this. If you're only comparing, you're not comparing apples to apples, because you have apples and oranges and grapes now. Yeah. You have this medley of fruit. You have all these things that are all part of the same.
Stores are
same basket.
All stores are different. What you're selling is different from a store in the Midwest is selling is completely different from what Isotope is selling up in San Francisco.
Well, and one of the things that kills me about Hibbs, sorry, Charlie, let me just real quick. One of the things that kills me, he has 2 stores. One's much more like ours. One's very different. It feels like, in his articles that I read, he's kind of trying to turn the other store, more like his main store. And that's not going to happen because the people that are at the other store are the superhero guys. And he's like, well, I can't make this work. Well, you can if you're ordering variant covers. You can if you're getting the books these guys want, right?
Yeah.
Your other stores for your graphic novels and your more indie-focused crowd, and that's great. That's awesome. It's just two different stores. You can't force that superhero-focused store to act like your Fantagraphics-focused store, right? It's just not going to happen. Sorry, Charlie.
So I guess the one thing I would like to see, and I do kind of consider a valid critique on the industry, is there's far too many things that I kind of feel like, even on the podcast we'll talk about, yeah, this sold well this month, it's going to be canceled by issue 6.
Sure.
Yeah.
My numbers on Domino have gone up crazy, and they canceled it. And I'm like, well, all right. I mean, it's one of our, I don't want to say top selling, but it is a very good, it is top 10 Marvel book for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And why? Those covers, kind of that crowd, that speculator crowd, right?
Yeah.
The people that are buying that are the same people buying all those variants. But if you're a random store that doesn't care about that stuff and that's not your customer base, you're not moving any Domino, right?
Yeah, but it would be encouraging to see the market in a state where not all books are supported equally in a way. And what I mean by that is it's very, very easy to put certain price tags and that stuff on top tier books. But a lot of times I kind of feel like those top tier books set the price standard for everything around them.
Talking about
as Batman goes up in price, typically everything else gets...
Well, I mean, generally we'll leave books like Batman alone. That doesn't really affect the...
No, I'm just saying it would be encouraging to see them being a little more proactive on... So in the store here, you have been very, very intelligent about like Mr. Miracle going, I'm going to give away issue 1. This book will sell. I'm going to give away issue 1. I'm going to get it in the hands of people. It's not like DC made that more affordable for you to do so or anything like that. This is something that you had to sort of take the financial risk yourself in giving out issue 1s to push this book.
Yeah.
Realistically, if you weren't willing to do that, the sales in the shop would not be what they are.
No, absolutely not.
I would like to see the companies support more moves like that. If they have something like that they feel like has a real market, that should be something that they should be willing to take the same level of risk on that you were on your bottom line.
Didn't they give...
Yes, Die. And we called them out on the podcast for how that's not something they tend to do, but we applauded them for doing that. And it paid off in terms of sales on issues of Die, as far as I know.
Yeah. You know, for indie books are going to be a little different because I think there's sort of just a cap on what they're going to sell. I've started to order more Valiant number 1s because they do full returnability on them, but as expected, I found they sell exactly the amount they would without it. I'm not selling 50 copies of a Valiant book because it's returnable. I'm selling exactly what I would sell without it.
Yeah.
And no extra sales for number 2.
Like for me, I mean, I'm getting most of the books that come from Valiant, and like I'll get a miniseries, I'll finish it, I'll put it up on eBay, it'll sell. Like out of the books that I purge out of my collection, those sell very well because again, when it's done, people are more apt to be, and I'm not charging cover price for it. Yeah. But I can still get a fair amount of money from the Valiant books that I get. But that's because people aren't going to the shop and getting it.
Well, yeah.
All I'm basically saying is that there are some tried and true methods out there. And there's some methods that don't work as well as they used to work. Like, we talked about some of that stuff. But realistically, I would like to see a little more... not from a retailer side, but from either Diamond or the publishers or whatnot, towards how can we move the needle on some of the stuff that isn't.
Watch that hashtag. Don't use that phrase.
What? Moves the needle?
Yeah, don't use that phrase.
Because the movie sure moved the needle.
So, again, this is the problem with this line of thinking. So Boom Studios has gone out and they've done a program where they have like I think 5 or 6 books a month that they make fully returnable. Not even returnable. Just affidavit of destruction. We just tell them we've destroyed this many copies. They credit us fully for those issues, right? Once or twice a year, I think they're asking for stuff back, but for the vast majority of them, we don't have to. And that's going to help me on my numbers for Buffy number 1, 2, and 3, and Firefly 1, 2, and 3, right? Because, again, I ordered extra. And we sold quite a few of them. But what's my number 4 going to look like? I think 4 is going to look exactly like it would look like without the returns, right?
Yeah.
Wizard Beach is another book they just did that's fully returnable. And I sold a couple copies of 1 and 0 copies of 2, right? The Adventure Time comic, we've not had luck with the single issues on Adventure Time, but number 1's fully returnable, so I ordered a handful of them. I expect we may sell 1 or 2, but I'm not going to sell random, I'm not going to sell more of the others, right? They'll just sit in my kids section and just kind of collect dust. This really does come down to Marvel and DC, right? And maybe Image, but mostly Marvel and DC. The problem is there's no incentive for Marvel and DC to do this, because when they do a Doomsday Clock number 1 or they do a Fantastic Four number 1, it's going to sell a shitload of copies.
Yeah.
Why? It doesn't. So Marvel does do their deep discounts. And we definitely have hit that with FF and other books to get more copies. So if I have a big stack of FF number 1, it doesn't matter. It goes off for free comic day because it's already paid for.
Yeah.
Right. So there are times when that happens, but they're not going to give copies away for free. They're not going to give extra or returnability. Returnability on
I
it.
think what it is something. It comes down to kind of.
I'm not even. I guess here's what I don't know the right middle ground for this, but I still kind of go back to that Mr. Miracle example of, and you've done this with other books, but there is times where you take a financial risk in the shop, knowing that by taking the financial risk, the fact that 2, 3, 12 is going to sell better is going to completely justify having given away those issue 1s.
Yeah.
I don't know the middle ground that would need to be hit between you as a retailer and them as a sort of publisher, but it would be nice to see certain books.
Marvel double shipped Mosaic number 1. I threw them in the garbage, right?
The thing is I think what it is.
There's a difference between sort of double shipping and, like, I would love there to be some sort of program that says, okay, you can order X amount of this, we'll give it to you for this price, but you have to guarantee you're going to, like what they do on Free Comic Book Day. If you could order, not on Free Comic Book Day, but other stuff where it's like, look, I will order this amount to give away to all my subscribers, but you have to give it to me for this price for issue 1, knowing that hopefully that will translate to additional copies of issue 2, as long as it's a book worth doing it on. And I'm not talking like Doomsday Clock. I'm not talking big books are going to sell anyways. I'm basically saying there's got to be some good books that are not necessarily top tier characters that could benefit from not a standard model.
Sure.
Something that incentivizes retailers and publishers together to put more support behind it.
I tweeted that I have no idea what to do. And I'm not always right, but I generally have an idea. I have no idea, because basically any method means the retailers make more money and the company and the companies that make the comic books lose money. And I don't think that's healthy for those companies, and I don't think it's going to happen. So there is no belief, there's just no proof in the industry today that deals to retailers for the first couple issues lead to increased sales among consumers
for a long
period. Again, you have unique instances like our store, Tom King, and Mr. Miracle. That was like, I was like, this is going to happen. I can do this. I can make this work, and it worked. But I don't know that if I did that again with any book, I don't know. Like, there's not a book out.
Well, the thing is
because Doomsday Clock's going to sell.
Doomsday Clock's going to
FF
sell.
number 1 is going to sell. Amazing Spider-Man is going to sell. There's no boutique book that's going to come out from either company this year that I think this would make sense with. And so any major book, they're losing money if they give a better deal. It's unlikely that I'm going to see, we saw 500 copies of FF number 1 and then 50 copies of number 2, because that's just the way comics are, all capitalized, period.
So I'm going to go to
and I don't know. I have no clue what the answer is. I
don't necessarily know what the answer is either, but I will say this. There's a lot of data out there. So Jim Sub has a blog that I don't know how much he does this anymore, probably not very much. But he's been very forthright with a lot of his numbers for Skull Kickers and Wayward and that kind of stuff. And one of the things I found very interesting about his numbers on his sort of graphs and stuff is he will mark down this is where the first trade got released. This is where the second trade got released. Yeah. And with Skull Kickers, one of the interesting things is they started putting the early issues of that on one of the online comic sites where you could read a page a day or whatnot. And after that went there, it did translate to more sales of the comics on the current issues as people caught it there and then went to try and catch up.
You have
it would be. I'm always sort of fascinated by data and trying new things and seeing what works and what doesn't.
And I just don't think that works for Marvel and DC because you have Marvel Comics Unlimited, you have DC Universe, you have all these freebie books online. You have first chapters of a lot of stuff for free. You have cheap sales on Comixology.
Well, I think what Charlie's saying is it's great when you have that boutique book like Mr. Miracle, right? Your clientele. You have 60 some odd subscribers for Batman, Tom King, diehard subscribers. Let me finish, Charlie. You've interrupted me so many times.
So much fun.
I know. That's a boutique book. Something like Fantastic Four, #1, you're going to get a fair discount because of all the amount you're going to order. You're going to be able to sell a set of the variants to somebody to help pay for it. So, again, you can plan for that. But something like Young Justice #1, right? It's new in the line of Wonder Comics that's coming out from DC. Now, they're still available to order at DC, which is...
Some of them.
Some of them. But the thing is it's one of those things where if DC just we'll ship, not double ship you like Marvel does, but say, hey, you ordered 20 copies of this, here's an extra 5.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's they're giving you an extra 5 that translates to more sales for you, but that extra 5 could translate to at least maybe 2 more long-term sales.
But that's what I said. There's nothing that proves that that's going to happen. And all that does is lose DC money.
So here's the way I would approach that. And this is I don't want to say backwards, but a kind of semi-realistic view on a little of this. There's a decent chance, and I don't know if it's been announced yet, but that screams out to me the kind of thing that they'll reprint issue 1 for Free Comic Day.
Yeah, probably. Mm-hmm. And Free Comic Book Day does not.
No,
I literally have 2 customers that actually sign up for stuff after Free Comic Book Day. Right? Again, it doesn't change orders.
But for me,
I give out 500 copies of a book for free, and nobody buys it when it comes out.
If they gave you the same deal they would give you on the reprint on Free Comic Day for issue 1 now, would you have given away to all your subscribers?
Say that again.
If they gave you the same price they're going to give you on Free Comic Book Day, but for issue 1 now, knowing that is sort of a new target with a good
like a $3.99 cover price, but they charge me 25 cents.
I'm not even saying $3.99 cover price. Just we intend shops to give away issue 1 for free, but we need to charge 25 cents. But you can order as many as you want to give away to your subscribers and whatnot. Yeah. Would you buy into that to give everybody Young Justice #1?
I think it could work for some books. We've had it for it was like Days of Thoris. They had a 25-cent zero issue, and I just gave it away for free. And I have the exact same subscribers for Days of Thoris that I had before that.
There's certain books that I think would benefit from that approach.
I think it really depends on what it is. Mr. Miracle is that boutique book. Young Justice is launching a new line out of DC.
Maybe to me. Young Justice #1 is going to be their highest selling issue of Young Justice ever. Mm-hmm. And by making it 25 cents and giving it away for free, us and DC lose a shitload of money. That's just the end, right there. Again, some books I think it can work for, but I just don't see it being enough to change.
I think the difficult part is that there's no set.
Because fucking Uncanny X-Men #1's $9.99 and people buy fucking hundreds of thousands of copies of it, right? So to me, it's like
Young Justice is a large launch, which is why it's
$9.99, $7.99. What was it?
I agree. In general, it would lose a lot of money because the sales would be strong on it anyways, based on its Bendis, its Young Justice,
and it had 7 covers. I just don't see that being profitable for anyone. I mean, thinking long term is awesome, but
that being said, I'm trying to say that there are plenty of cases out there where you might have the right creative team on a book, but it's hard to get buy-in because of either the character or the...
How about this? Every store, once a quarter, say once every 6 months, can opt in to Marvel and DC to get a case of a comic for free, regardless of what it is. Whether it's Doomsday Clock #1.
Man, you're going to be pissed off when you get the Mosaic Volume 2
No.
#1.
We choose it. Yeah. The store chooses it. The store says, I am going to put the new volume of Amazing Spider-Man #1 into every subscriber's box and give them away. Mm-hmm. And they are comped free from the publisher.
Yeah.
This is not... this is not
and you
everyone...
could even say the main cover...
Main cover only, right. Or maybe once a year or something like that Marvel and DC and Image do this. And they're like, this is going to be a book that you as a store are agreeing to promote above and beyond, like I did with Mr. Miracle, above and beyond your traditional push.
But the thing is you got an advanced copy of Mr. Miracle.
Yeah, and then that would be,
FOC.
That would be part of the deal. So, I mean, I could see them maybe making that work, where the company's like, we're going to let every store... We're going to help every store by doing so it's not everyone gets FF #1 for free. It's the stores that want to make it FF #1 get that. Yeah. Right?
And again, they'd have to be saying we're going to give it away free, which is going to affect our sales. So as a retailer, you would have to decide, are the loss in sales?
Right.
No, that would work. I like that.
Because it allows the stores to know their audience. Because maybe you're a Daredevil store. Maybe Daredevil's the biggest book that you sell, right? And so pushing Daredevil...
Take Conan, right? Perfect example. Jason Aaron, right? Art's amazing on it. But how many people are really big Conan fans? Not too many.
Hard to sell.
But how many people subscribe to Jason Aaron books?
All right, quite a few.
That you could have easily gone, you know what? I'm going to do Conan as mine this year. And then everybody gets, like, you can do all the subscribers at that point, but then that helps because it's like the Jason Aaron guys who weren't necessarily into Conan are like, well, I'll check this out. And there's that feeling, at least of the single issue crowd, where if they get something, they're more apt to like it a little bit, or not be so critical of it.
And I do have there was something that I did with Mr. Miracle that and this is why just single issues just keep people reading. I put Mr. Miracle in everyone's box and signed them up for it. And I said, if you do not want it, number 2, you don't have to.
Yeah.
But we're going to sign you up for this because I think you're going to want it. If you don't want number 2, let us know. I had almost nobody say no, right? If I put Conan #1 in everyone's box and say, let me know if you want number 2, nobody's going to, I mean, a couple people will, right? But nobody's going to sign up. When we do this with Comic Hub, I noticed this. When I sent out an email, hey, you get X-Men red, blue, and fucking...
Black, gold.
Red, blue, and gold.
Fuchsia.
We're signing you up for Uncanny X-Men.
Lime green.
Not a single person said no, right? However,
Not a single person or not a single person?
Not a single person.
Okay, just checking.
But when I say, hey... what did I do this with recently? There was something. I was like... Hey, fans of all these different titles, West Coast Avengers is coming up. You bought Hawkeye, you bought Gwenpool,
you bought Gwenpool, you bought Mockingbird.
You bought all these books. Anyone that bought any of these books, I think this is something you would like, but I don't know. If you want to add it to your list, let me know. I had 2 people add it.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's just this... It's so weird how that works.
Yeah.
But the thing is with Mr. Miracle, they got a free copy to check out,
right.
versus you signing people up without giving them a free copy of something. Like it's one of those things where I think there's a balance.
Well, I think people also respect feeling like this. you believe in this so much.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is getting an advanced copy of a book, letting stores have enough time to read it and before FOC and go, oh, I'm going to push this, or I think this is something that's going to sell well. That helps out like exponentially in being able to how we place orders and stuff like that, regardless of whether or not there's a deep discount or not, or we're giving the book away. But again, it also depends drastically on, again, who the creative team is, who the character is. Is it something that's going to be something that your wheelhouse of customers is going to want and get behind?
Yeah.
Right? No offense, but I don't think your customer base is going to get behind Red Sonja another time.
Yeah.
Because they keep...
No, but I think Ryan's idea of a once-a-year thing
once every 6 months
I think that's...
Because for Conan, idea. Would you have done that? Would you have taken the case for Conan and been like, everybody's getting a copy of Conan, maybe, and been like, anybody that gets, not everybody, but anybody that gets at least a Jason Aaron book, you automatically sign them up for Conan, right?
That's a bit of a stretch, but maybe.
But at least then you can...
we're going to move on. I'm sick of this topic.
And you thought we wouldn't have a lot to talk about.
We still have much talk. We still have much stuff to talk about.
We could talk a lot. That was a briefly...
Yeah, I again, like I said,
come on, more questions. Give it to us.
Good luck spitballing the stuff with the companies, and they're never going to change.
Yeah.
Generic protagonist says, I've been sitting paring down my comics and collections and collectibles. What's the best way to sell off floppies, trades, hardcovers, omnibuses, and figures and statues with no box? Well, you can go to your local comic shop. You can go on Craigslist. You can go on eBay.
It all depends how much time and effort you want to put into it.
Look up those omnibuses and trade paperbacks, especially if they're a little bit old, on Amazon. Lots of stuff goes for crazy money once it's out of print, especially some of those omnibuses.
Yeah.
Call Charlie. He'll buy all your omnibuses off you. That's what he told me.
Of course, at a discount because,
Open figures and statues, man, that's eBay territory, and good luck.
Yeah.
You're going to... You better take some really good pictures.
Well, you can at LD Exterminator and see if he'll take them off your hands.
After he pays me off. Let him get his tab down to me, then he can buy them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be online. Again, you can wander into a store and ask, but a lot of stores aren't going to take stuff.
Yeah, honestly, your best bet is if you're getting rid of like a just bulk amount of like floppies, take them to your local shop.
Yeah.
I mean, the best thing you can do is organize them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, make sure
you'll get more money going into the shop if it's organized and they can flip through it easily and know what you got. If you have runs of stuff, eBay, Craigslist, like...
Again, everything is going to translate to how much time and effort you want to put into it. If you want to put in the time and effort to maximize how much money you get from it, you're probably going to get to the end of it and be like, that took me way too much time. And
yeah.
If you're looking at I just need to get rid of this stuff and make what I can, then just take it down to a shop.
Yeah.
Dan over at Southside Comics wants to know, how do I rack my comics? We were talking on Twitter about. I think I owe him some pictures. We were talking about the new releases and our current release stuff. We have our new releases in a separate section.
I can tell you how not to do it.
How's that?
In a poster, like giant Rolodex thing with them just hanging.
Huh? You seen that?
Yeah.
That's an odd one. We have a new release wall where all the new releases go.
At the back of the store.
Back of the store, right with the milk.
Right with the milk.
Milk and eggs.
So they have to pass everything in the store before they get there?
Comics 101. Comic Shop 101. Comics in the back of the store. New comics in the back of the store. Now, I do know a lot of stores that rack the new comics just with their current, it's all together, right?
Yeah. And then they put like a tab or something.
I really don't like that.
I've never liked that. To me, that's just a fucking lot of sorting every week to move everything around to put the new comics out there. Some of our stacks of new comics are bigger than our entire stack of every previous issue we have. Yeah. So I don't know how that works.
To me, it's not even that. Like, I can handle it if all the new comics are like the top row or something like that. I can handle that. But when they're just slotted in there with like a little divider or something, then I have to go hunting through everything. To look at, and I hate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just, you need a way to display them by themselves so people know where to look.
I think so. People have told me that if you rack them with the other titles, it drastically increases the sales of older issues. maybe.
See, I
get it.
I can see it increasing the sales of issues in a sense that somebody comes in, they grab an issue and go, "Oh, I like this cover. Oh, it's part 2 of a story. I'll just buy the one because it's behind it."
Yeah.
But that's kind of your randos off the.
I just something about it just doesn't work in my mind. I believe it would lead to too much confusion unless you have a dedicated gap for that issue. Because if it's just a top comic in a stack, that's going to be super confusing to people. If every single book, if you're like, oh, here's my 2 stacks of Amazing Spider-Man and then a 3rd stack of this week's book, you're going to have all sorts of empty holes when stuff sells out.
Yeah.
Like, to me, something about that I just don't like.
How big is your store at that point?
The way I've seen it when they've done that is, yes, it just goes on the top of the stack, but with one of like the comic dividers behind it saying new this week. And some of them I've even seen have the new this week and like one that will say like new last week. So they swap them out. But
that wouldn't like work for 80% of what we stock because I couldn't fit it on top of the stack of the other stuff. Right?
Like I said,
not at
how
opening.
big is this store that you're stocking this stuff in?
Yeah.
No, my frustration is if somebody has to go through hunting, it makes it infinitely more likely, especially if I'm in a rush, that I'm going to miss something that I wanted to buy.
And not to mention,
and when I come in the next week and find out that you're out of it and I missed it, that's just going to increase my frustration.
Not to mention how we already have a problem we have a little of this problem, but not much. But I would imagine that stores just people will take stuff off and then hide it somewhere like a lot more frequently.
Yeah, I think it's a nightmare. But I went straight alphabetical when we moved the store. So when it comes to Marvel, we
all
separate
new goes
A-L. Marvel, DC, and Independent, everything goes straight alphabetical. So Amazing Spider-Man's under A, Uncanny X-Men's under U,
Mighty Thor is under M.
Mighty Thor's under M.
The only time that breaks me, like legitimately breaks me, is when they mess with the title just enough where it's like, I'm used to looking for this title under I. Now it's under T.
Well, I've now adopted this in the back issue bins as well because we used to have Amazing Spider-Man under A and Spider-Man under S. But then I would put All New Inhumans under I for Inhumans. Why is that there when Amazing Spider-Man's under A? I just got to... Uncanny X-Men is the only one that is under X because it was originally called X-Men. It is called Uncanny X-Men later. That is one of the... I mean, I'm still in the process of changing the back issue bin, so it's not every book. But as I've gone through everything that goes in new, whenever I come across one, and as I'm going from the back of the alphabet to the front, when I'm redoing all our tags, resorting, repricing, inventorizing stuff. When I get to a book, it's like, oh, cool. Marvel Knight Spider-Man that turns into Superior Spider-Man that's under S, that's going under M because the book is called Sensational? No, Sensational.
Sensational, yeah, Sensational.
Yeah. It's Marvel Knights Spider-Man is the name of the book. It goes under M because that's where it goes. So I had to just go straight alphabetical with that stuff. So we have Marvel, DC, and then Independent. Again, everything's just alphabetical. Those three. Josh wants to know what's your favorite Booster Gold stories. Booster
Gold stories.
Booster. Man, Heroes of Crisis is quickly becoming one of them.
Yeah.
Justice League International. I mean, just start to finish.
But I love the Johns and Jurgens.
The Jurgens is really good.
Yeah.
Especially.
Like, especially those rando one-shot issues where he's trying to fix something and can't fix it, and he, like, just going through that realization. Because he tried to fix the barber getting shot.
All about fixed points in time.
Yes. God, they need to collect that Booster Gold run into a nice omnibus.
Someday, I hope they've gotten a lot of the other John stuff, so that would be an easy...
No, just the Booster Gold, because it's Johns and Jurgens.
But you could plaster Johns on the cover and Jurgens on the cover, and it just kind of goes with... Sort of like if you notice, it's not just an Aquaman omnibus, it's a...
Let's wrap up with Indicator.
Indicator? Is he asking about binding?
I've been reading Infinite Crisis through all the minis, including 52. Is it possible that this is the most ambitious thing DC has ever done and done well? What are your thoughts? And I totally agree. Easily.
Yeah, Infinite Crisis was one of the,
Infinite Crisis 52 is easily in like the modern day. Let's talk 2000s to now, last 20 years. No question.
Did Identity Crisis come out before that?
Before, yeah.
Okay.
Identity Crisis was the start of it. Yeah. I mean, Rebirth is kind of close, but the books aren't connected. It's just kind of a rebranding.
I think New 52 was a line wide like very substantial thing they did. But yeah, what they did during Infinite Crisis into 52, I think it like for me at least when I was reading that stuff, and like I came in around the 50, like when 52 was just starting, and I went and got caught up with that stuff. But it really introduced me to a lot of not top tier characters that I now really enjoy.
Yeah.
So,
and of course, his real question, he goes, "How would you bind it in 1, 2, or 3 books?" Indy, come on, Craig. Look, noob question 101. First, book 1 is Countdown to Infinite Crisis with the one shot and all the miniseries.
Oh God. And the specials.
Volume 2 is Infinite Crisis plus all tie-ins. Volume 3 is 52, 1 through 26. And Volume 4 is 27 to 52. Oh, and Volume 5 is all the tie-ins to 52, huh? Because they had all the...
They had all the
that
extra...
Surfer Ray Palm... Oh, no, that was Countdown.
That was Countdown.
Oh, yeah, fuck that. No, 4 volumes. There, we're done. 4 volumes.
No, 52... Didn't 52 have...
No. Nope. No, all that stuff was... All that extra stuff was...
Well, the problem with 52 is if you're doing the single issues, you have all those origin stories in the back.
Yeah,
you can either leave it or cut it out.
1 through 26.
Just leave it. They're fine.
1 through 26, 27 to 52.
But the thing is like your your countdown to Infinite Crisis will be ginormously huge.
No.
Yeah?
Countdown?
Countdown to Infinite Crisis?
It's only, 4 miniseries in the one shot?
Yeah, but the miniseries are 6 issues long.
That's
each of them
nothing.
Each of them has a special.
It's not that.
I have an omnibus with all the miniseries.
Just talk to Charlie about the mapping indicator. Apparently,
I think it's 4 volumes. I think 4 volumes is fine.
5.
4. And yes, I wish the omnibus was 2 hardcovers in a slipcase.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Oh, those words turn Charlie on. 2 hardcovers in a slipcase.
We have 1.5 trillion people to thank from Patreon. We have some new backers. We have some people to talk about. I can get through this stuff. We gotta get to all this. Let me get my info up. Before we start, though, let's once again thank the guys. Whoops. Once again, thank the guys. Once again, thank the guys at Impact Theory Comics. It was. You know how old this laptop is? Like, just looking at it.
We have a Patreon.
Just cry.
Just get a freaking new one.
Impact Theory Comics, their new comic, Neon Future, comes out in March. Pre-order now at comicsconspiracy.biz if you're using the Comic Hub app. You can pre-order a copy there. And
Doesn't
we'll have it
take too long. I did it on this podcast.
We have to also thank our new high-tier, longtime fan, longtime listener, and new high-tier backer. That is Tyler Willits. I know Bryce is a big fan of Tyler's.
Oh, Tyler's awesome. He seriously needs to buy that She-Hulk statue.
I mean, I'm a big fan as well, but Bryce is a big fan.
Oh, God.
Of Tyler's.
Sorry, Tyler.
He has a podcast. It's called Thursday Thunderdome. It's at Thursday T-Dome. You can also go to thursdaythunderdome.com, and you can, every Thursday, Tyler and his friend whose name escapes me because I closed the window, why don't I very quickly go back in and instead of writing this down, which I didn't, you can also go, his co-host Chris, thank you, very, very, very uncommon name, Chris. Tyler and Chris discuss one topic every week, and whether they're for it or against it. They throw it into the Thunderdome. What comes out? We don't know. Go listen to Thursday Thunderdome to find out. Again, that's at Thursday T-Dome on Twitter and ThursdayThunderdome.com, and it's on iTunes and all that garbage. Every place you go and get your Thunderdomes on. You can do it there with Tyler. We also have Julian Titus with the Nerds Without Pants podcast at pixelbit.com.
All right, hold on, I'll try. No pants!
There it is. Jody Lawson has canon the Triad Comics Anthology at TriadComicStudios.com. Sam Che, Craig Anderson, who Craig's got a plug. It's a little different than a normal plug, but he's going to get that to me pretty soon, so we'll talk about that next week. Joe Duff, Andrew Nelson Mendez over at Recovery of an Anime Junkie podcast, Darfox 8 over at Manga Machinations, and which is a podcast and a Tumblr account. Lots of good info up there.
Wait, Tumblr's still up?
Yeah, just no porn, so barely, but. And Page Turners, it's a comic book podcast over at pageturnerspodcast.libsyn.com. Make sure you check out all those guys, as well as Kevin Sharp. You can start your countdown now, because I would like to thank all our $5 backers on Patreon. Patreon.com/comic conspiracy. For a couple bucks a month, you can get your name read. You can get your comic book, or get your Patreon or something plugged here. Podcast too. Well, I have no idea what I'm saying anymore. Let's thank these guys: Dennis Jansen, Alex McHale, Matthew Schnapp, Adam, David Baroldi, Don Kilson, Mark Long, Ivan Liskanik, Brian Morowski, Miles Gakula, Bryce Larson quotes. Hey, Bryce Larson quotes, you have a 50% chance in 7 weeks of having some more quotes. Paula Schultz.
He could get more quotes if Bryce would just send you the file.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about Bryce. He literally only sent me the top Marvel books after like 2 weeks.
What? Well, you know what his top DC is?
Nothing.
Batman.
Yeah.
Mr. Miracle.
Yeah, you know what his top DC movies are? None. Paula Schultz, Joseph Rodriguez, Jack Ildefonso, Christopher Noyes, David Safar, Identity Stunt, the comic book. Go check out Identity Stunt, the comic. You can buy it. I believe you can still get that on our digital storefront. PJ Ryder, Josh Elliott, Rob Bendixson, Travis Fleischman, Amy Foster, Mason Barber, I can never pronounce his name. It always catches me off guard. I'm terrible. I'm horrible at pronouncing names. Anirban Banerjee, thank you. Robert Lane, Christopher Stone, Thad Gutschall, Xavier Krieger, Timothy Rowenker, Chris Lockhart, Aaron Wright, Father Dante, Nick Harrison, Alex Young, Chris Palaki. I cannot pronounce any name, apparently. Kevin Ellis, Chris Olivis, Wally Ansari, Nick Zappas, Mario Miranda, Dominic Arisman, Chris Bunch, Edgar Moreno, and Andrew Cuscieri. Thank you guys all very much.
Thank you
for the couple bucks you throw us, and every single person on Patreon at patreon.com/comic conspiracy. Thank you guys all very, very much. We have to also remind you to go over to comicspiracypodcast.com, geekbox.net, and iTunes, where you can find all our previous episodes.
Rate and review us.
It's also at youtube.com/comicsconspiracy if you want to listen to us on the old YouTubes. Those long-form emails you can send to us at thecomicconspiracy@geekbox.net. If you have more than, how much is Twitter now? 280 characters? If you want more than that, send it to us in an email.
Which we'll read in 2025?
Yeah, digital.comicsconspiracy.biz is where you can pick up all your digital comics from us. We get a nice little kickback.
Are we going to get your end of the year numbers for our digital sales for maybe next couple weeks?
No.
Okay.
We don't really get those. They don't really provide that stuff for us.
That sucks.
It's Amazon, man. They don't tell us anything. Comicsconspiracy.biz. That is where you can go to purchase physical comic books from us for mail order. Brock will pack them beautifully and ship them out.
Yep.
Conspiratobrock.com. That's Brock's blog and video pullist. Make sure you go and subscribe to him over on the YouTube. Yep. Get his unboxing videos on there.
Hey, I've been doing better.
Yeah, you got a lot of them.
Yeah.
Wanders in the Fourth Dimension podcast. That's Charlie's Doctor Who podcast. There's no Doctor Who for a year. What are they going to do? I have no idea. We should have asked him. He left already. Etsy.com/shop/
with puppies.
Yeah,
the puppies aren't here anymore.
Yeah, they had to get out of here fast. They have puppies. Etsy.com/shop/ Leanne Hill Art as my wife Leanne. That is her Etsy store.
Is she working on anything new?
Don't believe so. No, too quiet. She's prepping for school.
She's probably, well, if she does anything, she's probably going to be doing a Captain Marvel.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know if she's doing anything. If you want to bug us on Twitter, I'm Ryan Higgins Ryan. Brock is Brock Sager. Charlie's Insanity and Chaos. The store is Comics Con Store. You can always go on there and harass all of us on Twitter. If you want to listen to Geekbox, Manga, Machinations, Comedy Button, and Infinite Binge, there's some other podcasts in our little network. It always helps when you check those guys out. So go listen to those as well. You probably already do, and thank you for listening. All right.
Share us with your friends, too.
That can work, too.
And tell them they don't need to start from the first episode. They can just slide right in.
Yeah, if you want to hear about all the news that happened 8 years ago, listen to our first episode. If you want to hear about all our wrong
8
theories.
years. In March, 8 years.
All the wrong things we said, this will never last, or this won't happen, or maybe they'll do this. And none of it turns out to be true.
But a fair amount of your DC stuff came true.
I guess, does it? Some of it? Maybe. Yeah. I have no idea. We'll find out next week. Goodbye.